right now?
Yes, indeed.
Perfect. I don't know about all of you, but I like to not just talk at people the entire time. So if you have a question, I'll lean on Trigby and Dave to kind of give me a prompt because I can't see everyone immediately with my screen share. But if you have a question, you want to talk about something that I'm covering or going through, 100% let me know. I'm happy to pause. We do have time for Q&A at the end, but I am also very happy to just pause and answer a question, or we can dive into a specific thing that I'm covering. But once again, thank you very much to BusyWeb and the BusyWeb team for having me here today. My name is John Pizzeni, or John Eric Pizzeni. I'm the walking personification of a compromise between my parents. One wanted John, one wanted Eric. They put it together. So thank you for them. I was previously the lead strategic channel consultant at HubSpot, working with our top tier solutions partners like BusyWeb at HubSpot. I did that for 6 years. I'm now, as of this month, currently in my 7th year at HubSpot. I'm now managing a team of channel consultants. It's really weird managing basically the team that I started on at HubSpot, which has really been really rewarding, an interesting change of pace, being in that seat from getting to talk to partners and customers all day, which I miss it often, but it's been a really rewarding experience and very cool. But it's gotten to see a lot of changes and a lot of things at HubSpot over the years, gotten to see and learn a lot of different strategies as far as what is working for different businesses, what's not. And that has led to a lot of my interest in chatbots, which I think is one of the, in my opinion, most underutilized tools in HubSpot, and just as a tool in general, if we're not just talking HubSpot. There are definitely other pieces of software that have it and include it, but it's definitely underappreciated, underutilized. And I can very assuredly tell all of you on the call today that if you are a HubSpot customer, it is very likely you have bots in your tool right now, because it comes with pretty much any of the products. And if you aren't using them, you could turn around today after this session and turn it on, which I'm hoping this session leads you to do. So with that being said, agenda-wise, we'll talk a little bit about like why bots. Why are they like a big thing now? Is it right for your business and your strategy? We'll talk about some different examples of bots, different types of bots, because there are different ones, and different software options that you can use. We'll talk about conversational marketing in general. So like how to approach that strategy, what it is, and how does it apply to bots. We'll also talk about I've turned my bot on, or I'm using bots. How the heck do I know if it's working or not? What do I look at? So we'll talk about reporting and KPIs that we can take a look at, and then we'll do some Q&A. If that sounds good to everyone, I will keep on trucking. So why bots in general? So to kick off our story here, this is, I don't know if any of you have taken an Amtrak recently or been a customer of Amtrak before, but Amtrak hopped on this train, pun intended, very early on and saw some great returns from bots. So this is Julie. This is Amtrak's bot, which allows you to, basically it's a ticketing assistant. So you can go on to Amtrak's site, and instead of talking to a human or going through web pages, you can literally just book tickets right through Julie, very simply. No like hassle. She asks you where you're going. You can type in answers, and she's programmed to give different responses back and help you actually just book a ticket right from her chat pane.
Hey, John, one quick thing. Would you mind hitting slideshow for us to zoom in a little more?
Oh, is it? Yes, for sure.
It's yeah, there you go. Thank you.
If it's looking small. Is that better?
Oh, so nice. Thank you.
A lot better? All right, awesome. There you go. Now you get a real good image of the train.
Yes.
So you can do that right from the train pane, and then she will send you a ticket via email, all set and done. Why this is a big deal and what she does is she offers full navigation of the website. So she can not only help you book tickets, but help you find your way around the website. She answers basic questions finds what the best route is going to be based on your destination. So whether you need to make multiple stops or whether there's a more direct route that you can do, she helps book those tickets, has been described as perky, spunky, unshakably courteous, and reassuring. And she completes more customer interactions per day than a human agent handles per year. And I think that's the big sticker is bots are a really good option to have on your site for really, really repeatable tasks or things that your humans in your organization do daily that eat up a lot of their time. So a lot of administrative tasks or FAQ type questions or things that are just nice rinse and repeat type interactions that your customer can be having with today a human can be done by a bot. And not only has it saved Amtrak a lot of money, but it's also led to a lot of bookings as well because of the ease of use. So Julie's value increased booking by 25% for Amtrak. They saved over $1 million on customer service fees, 50% growth in year-to-year users communication with Julie, and 30% increase of revenue from online booking, which is huge. And those are really, really exciting numbers. The thing to understand about bots as well is they're like really they're very convenient for people. We are living in a day and age where through COVID and everything, we're kind of like, we're all moving very fast. And sometimes we don't want to talk to a human. We have all of our horror stories of waiting on the phone for customer service or waiting to get that personal attention, when a bot can be a great option to give people on-demand resources, on-demand action and interaction on your website today. So that's to kind of kick off the chatbots in general. Just defining it, it's a computer program designed to simulate conversation with human users, especially over the internet. And I'm just gonna, you can chat in your answer, but by this year, 2023, this company called, I think it's called Gartner. That's my brain, where my brain's at today. Gartner predicted by 2023, what percent of customer interactions will be managed without a human? Anyone have a guess?
We have 80, 53, 50, 78, 85.
Ooh, there we go. I was going to say 80 was really close, but it is 85%. 85% of customer interactions will be managed without a humans by 2023, which is the year we are now in. Chatbots, and this is a reason for a few different reasons. Number one, chatbots are never grumpy or have sick days. Chatbots give quick responses, and which 82% of surveyed people say is very important to be able to get that quick response. So they're huge, and they are becoming bigger and bigger. Having something on your website to give people on-demand information, help find their way around your website by having something on the homepage to navigate to other pages, push information is really huge. And they can do a lot of different things, especially inside of HubSpot. A lot of folks just think they are just okay, I program questions and answers. But not only in HubSpot can bots act like a conversion opportunity, where instead of you having to create a piece of content like ebook or a list or any of the different things that you're using today, any of that information that the bot is collecting is a conversion. So over time, you're pulling in information or asking questions to better help the individual. And because how much that feels like a genuine, easy interaction, I'm that much more willing to give you my information because it's better assisting me. It's helping me get to a more direct and clear answer. So you are literally just getting information that you would, based off one interaction, a lot more inside of a bot interaction, which is great. So why are they becoming more common? Number one, it's going to waterfall. 55% of buyers said they would prefer to communicate with companies through a messenger. 2, 40% do not care if a robot or human talks to them as long as they get what they need. Chatbots are available 24/7. You can actually, if you're using like live chat on HubSpot, for example, you can actually set up your live chat to have chatbots take over when no one is online, which is great. And then 4, chatbots save your company money. Now we're talking about different types of bots. There are 2 different ones. So there's artificial intelligence, which uses machine learning to understand the context and intent of a question before formulating a response, which is something that HubSpot can do, as well as rule-based chatbots, which are powered through a series of defined rules. So they can stay simple or get very complicated, however, can't answer questions outside of those defined rules. So both options are available on HubSpot. You can set up predefined question answer type things, or you can utilize artificial intelligence, also using, if you have Operations Hub, a lot of the custom coded actions, which really opens the door to, my answer would be, you could make the bot really do anything with the custom coded actions, which are very cool. So is bots right for your business? Before I go through this, one of the big points I usually like to talk about when I talk about bots is, and this is my catchphrase with this training, is if you have a bot on your website today and it's just the same bot across all of your website pages, turn it off immediately. The biggest mistake a lot of folks make when they turn a bot on is that, and you want to make sure that your bot is based on the page's intent that's located on. So what I mean by that is, if I have a bot on my homepage, what is someone doing on my homepage? They're learning about my company. They probably are looking for their way around my website, looking for something. So that bot is going to be a concierge bot. It's going to be a lot different than a bot on a pricing page, where someone specifically on the pricing page, I want that bot to talk to someone very differently than if they're on my homepage. So if you're getting what I mean, there's multiple different types of bots, but you always want to think about, what's the page's intent? What am I trying to do on this page? What's the person who's on this page? What are they trying to accomplish? And how am I designing my bot to achieve that desired outcome? So that is probably, if you could take anything away from today, as far as, in addition to rather, just using a bot in general, it is that as well. Make sure that you have different bots based on your different pages intent. So spot checking is a bot right for your business today. One, is human bandwidth a constraint for you? If you don't have a large team, if you are understaffed, or you need to seem bigger than you are as far as the business and how big your organization is, bots are a great thing to do, because you can handle a lot more customer inquiries, help a lot more people navigate your website with a bot that is available 24/7 and not someone you have to be paying on staff or who could be out of office. 2, do you need to collect data or report on conversations? If you do, bot is a great option. Again, it's just an alternative way to collect information or convert people on your website. It's just doing the same thing that we're all doing already by having forms and landing pages. It's now just in a live form, and it's an alternative way for people to give you the information. 3, is the cost of making a mistake low? If it is, bots are a great option. Bots are pre-programmed the way you want them to be. So chances are it's not going to make really any mistakes unless you've programmed it in a certain way. So it's a great way to have something that's foolproof, there to help people do a specific action on your website. And then 4, do our customers need standardized answers? So if you're a business that has a lot of general FAQ type answers that are eating up a lot of your staff's time to answer, but could be that are generally pretty easy to answer and are very repetitious, you can absolutely use a bot for that. So bot examples and bot types. So kind of mentioned this earlier, again, different bot intent, different bots for different pages intent, but some good ones in here that you can just capture and take a look at is one, surface marketing collateral, capturing leads, booking meetings, creating customer service tickets. So these are all actual actions that you can do on HubSpot, as well as, again, I'm not going to just be HubSpot agnostic today. You can do it on other softwares as well. I'm a big fan of using HubSpots because unlike a lot of other softwares, it's all right inside your own system. You can program it inside of HubSpot. The data automatically saves and updates on a contact record, which is great, makes it super easy. But you can do all of these actions inside of HubSpot. You can also program the bot to remember people and to speak very differently to Dave, who might be a certain buyer persona, as opposed to Trigvi or Jen. You can have it be very different interactions based on whether the bot remembers the person or if you already have information collected on the person or individual and you know that they're a specific buyer persona or their location or what they've purchased from you in the past. Maybe it shows them specific products that you have used or comparative or often purchased together with something they purchased previously. So it's a really great way to personalize communication, but ensure that you also have many different use cases for it, and it can do a lot of different things. I'm going to pause there really quick because I know feel like I'm going a little fast. Any questions so far? How are we all feeling? Is anyone asleep? We'll say that first.
Well, I'm awake. This is great, and the no single across all pages is certainly an eye opener. I think we only have ours on our homepage right now, but putting out separates on every page is a great warning for people. I did load in a question, John. Are there different levels of chatbot functionality by HubSpot level, like starter, pro, enterprise?
Great question. The only difference is, so there's three key differences as far as like what you can and can't do as far as what level of HubSpot product you have. The only ones are if you want to do something like sales actions in a bot, like book a meeting and stuff, you need the Sales Hub. So Sales Pro or above.
Got it.
If you want to be able to create customer service tickets, you need Service Hub Pro or above. And then if you want to be able to custom code your bot, add in custom coded actions into the bot to do crazy things, really anything you want to code it to do, you need the Operations Hub Pro or above. Otherwise, you can do anything, any of this. You can start with a bot today. If you have Marketing Starter, if you have Marketing Pro, you can do everything else with the bots inside of HubSpot today. It's only those three pieces that you would need other hubs to do.
Okay, cool. Trigby just asked, when you talked about spot checking, can you talk about what that entails, the general care and feeding of bots?
More detail. What do you mean by just spot checking as far as
I grew up in the time when you should fear machines because of the Terminator. So I think there's a general skepticism when it comes to putting bots on the front lines of customer interaction. So when you you mentioned a little bit about spot checking to make sure that that your customers are getting the response that you want. Can you unpack this? Talk a little bit more about what the best practices are with that.
Yeah, I'll pause on that for the reporting portion of this, which we're coming up on. But that's a great question, and to give like a little bit of insight into it, it's gonna be monitoring it over the first month or two. It's gonna I'll use this analogy. It's kind of the same thing as like doing good list cleaning. So that's one of the things that businesses don't do enough of. Not to get into the weeds on a whole other subject, but email today, the chance that an email that you thought was a customer, and great, because you've had conversations before, chance that it gets taken over by a bot now is drastically increases over time. And if you don't clean your lists and you're not hearing from people and converting them and getting more information from them, email is like the last thing people clean. So you want to regularly clean your email database quarterly. It's kind of the same thing with a bot. You want to review your customer interactions with bots, review your conversations, pick like 5 to 10 conversations that a bot has recently had, because you can review the actual full conversation inside of HubSpot and see what the flow is like.
Okay.
And then review, oh, do we need to make some changes? Typically, when starting out with a bot, I would suggest whiteboarding it first and having a whiteboard kind of to name drop like another, like kind of lucid chart it. Have put your different questions and interactions and where they might go and where you want the conversation to go. Map that out first, try it, and then over a month's time, review some of those conversations and see if people were getting through all the way through the conversation in a succinct way. Were people getting the answers that they wanted, or are you collecting enough information from people? Because if you're seeing people just dip right out at the beginning of the conversation, or you've overloaded too many questions up front with the bot, and you're like, hey, I want to help you find what you're looking for, but first, can you give me your email, name, last name, mother's maiden name, and all this stuff? You're probably going to scare someone off. So review them monthly, I would say, or at least quarterly.
Okay. Thank you.
And John, we have a couple other questions, but if you want to keep
Yeah.
rolling, we'll
No, fire away.
Okay, so Allie asks, when you talked about using buyer personas to change the way bots interact, can you reference individual properties to do so as well, such as we have customer tiers via company properties?
Yep. Yeah, so you can, in Chatbot actions, you can essentially, when you're setting up a bot, and the UI is fairly similar in most other softwares as well. It's kind of like setting up a workflow, and you can set up, okay, like if then statements. If the person says this to a question, have them go this way, and the bot is going to talk to them about this. Or if this person has either indicated literally moments before that they are buyer persona number 1, have them go down this way. Or if we already know that they are buyer persona number 1, have the bot talk to them in this manner, or have them push this type of information or content to the individual. So not only can you set it based up on a question or a property, but it will immediately in real time save that information and action the next set of questions based on how that individual answers.
Cool. Can I ask a quick follow-up?
Yeah.
Does
Actually changed my mind. No, we're moving on.
All right, I'll go. If I, as Allie, enter the chat with a bot, is my contact record and in turn associated to a company record, does that like act as an enrollment trigger enough to recognize the property content? So like, would the bot know to start the conversation knowing I'm a tier 1 or tier 3 customer, or does that have to be indicated by the person in the chat? Good
question. So you could do both, actually. So you can either, if it's someone new, I'd assume in this situation that you are saying, okay, I only want my specific customers today that are a specific tier to be able to, see this bot. You can actually set bot visibility to only, like, the bot will only pop up if someone is a tier 1 or a tier 2. So you can set it that way too, but you can also set it to say, okay, if I remember that this person is already a tier 1 person, it can already set up the conversation in that way, or do it live, and they can indicate in there, hey, what tier of customer are you? 1? Great. So you can do it either way, or you can make it so that the bot isn't even visible to a tier 2 person, or a different bot entirely shows up to a tier 2 person as opposed to a tier 1 person.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Any other questions for now?
Well, Deanna was wondering if we're going to be talking about dashboarding at all.
Dashboarding. More context. What do we mean, Deanna?
A dashboard? Are we going to talk about a bot dashboard during reporting? Deanna, can you type in a little bit more?
Or just yell in. It's all good.
Or just talk.
Quietly whisper. Don't yell.
I will come back.
All right.
Cancellation of reporting.
As we're doing that, these are. Sorry, did you get it?
Yep,
Question?
we got it. Collection of reporting used to maintain bot health.
Yes, we're going to cover that in a second.
Cool.
I got you. So if there are no more questions, we'll definitely have time for more at the end. Absolutely. But just wanted to show you. So these are some different actions that you can do with the bot inside of HubSpot. So things like sending simple messages, asking questions, offering an email subscription, setting contact property values, setting company property values. So again, back to that. Hey, I want to live based on someone's response to a question. That can actually live update their contact or company record based on that interaction. And then the rest of the conversation can also proceed differently based on that new update of the value. So not only real-time collecting information, just like you would a form, but the rest of the conversation could look different based on that response and updated value. They can be added to lists right from a bot. So if like you're talking to like the person's going through your bot and you're asking questions like, oh, what are you interested in? Or they do indicate what buyer persona they are. Automatically from the bot, right from there, you can have the bot add them to your marketing list for that specific buyer persona type. Maybe you have a specific newsletter that's just geared toward a specific buyer persona type. You can ensure that they are enrolled in that list right from there immediately. You can also submit tickets. So with the Service Hub, you can do the submit a ticket report as well as open up a ticket, and then you can also do the knowledge base lookup. So Service Hub, the two Service Hub actions for bots is the ticket, and then if you have a knowledge base, the bot can reference basically in a search bar, could say, what are you looking for today? And if it's a FAQ type question or you want to be able for it to access your knowledge base, it can do it right from the chat panel, and then it will drop in any relevant knowledge base articles that the person is looking for. You can also send a chat conversation to a team member. So you can say, hey, this is more than I think this bot is able to do. It sounds like you might want to talk to a human. Let me move this over to a human. They'll get in touch with you immediately, whether through live chat or it can just indicate or ping someone and have them do a callback or something like that. Can also enroll people in workflows. So you can do that right from the bot, kind of the same thing as the example I gave on a list. If you want to enroll them in a newsletter, you can enroll them in a workflow as well to say, great, I got, maybe we didn't get all the way through the conversation and I want to be able to follow up with this individual and I've already collected their email address. I want to enroll them in a workflow that either follows up on the chatbot conversation or is maybe a nurturing campaign based on our interaction and what they seemed interested in. It can also trigger webhooks if you have the Operations Hub. You can run custom code snippet with Operations Pro, book a meeting, and then do the if-then branches I was talking about. So just some examples of different things that you can do. So HubSpot example, HubSpot for startups. Before I show you this, show you some of the stuff I was talking about earlier. So can everyone still see my? Can everyone see my screen on HubSpot.com?
Looks good.
So you can see I've literally just come to the homepage of HubSpot. You can see the bot has popped up. Hey, we want to help you find your way. Concierge bot. Cool. I want to chat to an expert, go to free training. I want to get started with free tools. It's helping me figure out some things I want to start with. But if I go to the pricing page and the bot comes, it's going to be a different conversation. Need help finding the right plan with your business? I'll connect you with a team member who can help. What questions can we help with? So it's a lot. So it's based on the page's intent. So if I go to any of these different pages, it's going to be, the bot is going to be asking different things to best help what I'm actually trying to do as a customer or potential customer on the page. So it's a great example. If you ever want to click around it, there's a lot of different companies that have this right now. So you look at HubSpot, Salesforce has it. If you go to any of those different pages, you can see that good example of, okay, I'm navigating to different pages and the bot is saying different things because it's based on the page's intent. I will also send this to folks in the follow-up after. I'll make sure that I get this over to Jen, Dave, to Trigby and team. But this is also a great article, a little bit more detail around the Amtrak bot, as well as 5 other examples of really, really successfully launched chatbots, which has a lot more detail on how they're using it, what the success story was, what the bot is used for. So highly encourage you to check out this article as well. And let me get back into presentation mode. So for HubSpot, another example that we have is HubSpot for startups. So we started when we were building this bot is like, what's the goal of it? We want folks to see if they're eligible to be a part of HubSpot for startups. And if you don't know what HubSpot for startups is, it's a program that we have that based on where your company's life cycle is. And if you're a startup company, if you meet eligible criteria to be a part of the program, it's a way for you to get a heavily discounted instance of HubSpot for a specific period of time. And then that slowly goes away as your company grows. So we wanted a really easy way for people to see if they were eligible to join the program or not, because it was eating a lot of HubSpot human hours to be able to go and action and qualify each different business that wanted to check it out, see if they could qualify for it. So that was the goal of the chatbot. Now we're trying to figure out what page should that chatbot live on. We want it to live on the startup's homepage. That's the first thing someone's going to care about. They get to that page. We kind of know that their intent is they're interested in the startups program. They want to learn more about it. Generally, people want to know first thing is if they're eligible or not. And then who should see the chatbot? All visitors to this page. As the example earlier, when I was talking about whether, customer or tier 1 customer or tier 2 customer, like who can see this bot, you can actually pick the audience of who the bot will appear to. So you can choose whether every visitor of the page can see this bot, or you can say, I only want people that are lifecycle stage customer to see this bot. This bot is programmed just to talk to our customers, maybe as like a concierge sort of customer service type thing, or maybe for upsell purposes, because this bot knows that they've purchased this product before, or the tier of customer. We only want those individuals to see it. So these are 3 great questions to ask yourself before you start setting up your bot. What's the goal? What page should it live on? And who do I want to see it? So this is kind of where we got from beginning to end. This is how we whiteboarded it. So first question was, have you received funding or been a part of an accelerator? Great. Book a meeting here if you'd like to learn more. So that's the beginning point and the end point. So yes or no? How much funding do you have? More than 2 million, less than 2 million? If it's the former, they'll go to no. No, you're not eligible, but you could qualify for X. Are you a member of the entrepreneur program? Yes or no? Great, book a meeting. So you can kind of see this is how we whiteboarded it. Very workflowy, very yes and no answer, but you can keep it. You don't have to get into the crazy AI type stuff or go custom coded. Like you can make them very effective in this workflow style. Other part of the questionnaire we did, have you completed your GED? Yes or no? Do you currently hold any degree higher than GED? Yes or no? If yes, it'll go over to no, not eligible, so on and so forth. So you can kind of just wanted to show you the gist of like how we planned these out and how you can kind of start to whiteboard it to make it really easy to get into bots. Now, this is what it looks like live. So all of that whiteboarding you just saw, here's now what it looks like in a live conversation. The bot responds based on those different prompts, gives people those areas, and it collects this information too. So any of the answers that they are providing with, if it is an answer that we think is relevant to save onto their contact record or company record, it's doing that live. So chatbot best practices. Number one, don't pretend to be a human. Nobody likes to have the wool pulled over their eyes. Don't try to make the bot seem human. I'm a huge fan of like, have some fun with it. I've seen some really successful bots when people like had multiple bots on their website, had different pages intent. There was one company that just tried a bot that literally did nothing but give people drink like cool cocktail recipes. And it was wildly successful. People loved it because you're having fun with it. You're acknowledging the situation you're in, and you're acknowledging the human condition that we're all in. Just make a bot that's fun. Like have fun with it if you want to have other ideas for bot options, because not only is it memorable, but you've created a joyful experience, something that someone's going to remember and want to come back to. And they're going to be like, oh, that was really cool. Like that was fun. I'm going to tell my friends about that. That's a really joyful experience. Overall, don't pretend to be human, but have some fun with it. Create an error message. So make sure that nobody likes to kind of hit a wall and then just be like, what the heck is happening? Like this isn't working. Create an error message for it if the chat is not going the way you want it to, or it like hits a bug or end of the road. Make sure that the bot can pop up with a, oh, we've encountered an error, so that they're just you're not leaving someone there hanging in space. 3, add value before you extract value. So this is probably the big one for conversational marketing, which we'll talk about in a second as well. But one of the other common missteps that people take when they're building bots is they ask way too many questions up front, and people get a bad taste in their mouth from that and leave, and you get nothing, and it's not successful. So make sure you're adding value to the person and the individual and how they're, what they're looking for before you start taking information from them. And 4, economize your branches when you can. And then use predefined answers. Predefined answers, this is the same thing for forms. I'm sure we've all used lots and lots of forms. Any of the ones that use an open text box and you let people type things in, you're going to be really silly, do things that aren't super great, but that data is also useless and is not something that we can keep consistently. So when you use predefined answers, it allows us to keep that data really clean and make sure that it's really relevant for us to use later. So tools, softwares that you can use to build bots, top 5. I am going to be, held to HubSpot. I really like HubSpot's bot software. There's definitely improvements that we can make to it that we are planning to do, but it is really solid. It is available in pretty much any tier of the software. The only pieces, again, that are blocked are things like stuff for Service Hub or stuff for Sales Hub and custom coded actions for Operations Hub. But I can guarantee you pretty much everyone on this call, if you're a HubSpot customer, you have access to bots right now and can turn around and do it. 2, Intercom is a really good option. Again, I don't want to just be HubSpot. I want to be transparent with all of you and give you other options. But Intercom, Watson Assistant is another really good one, Fresh Chat, and Drift. Conversational marketing. So it is super important when you're building the bot to have this in mind. It's a customer-centric and dialogue-driven approach to marketing. It has become the go-to strategy for driving customer engagement, improving customer experience, and growing revenue. So the best practices of conversational marketing is 1, get to a page, go through a flow. So your bot conversation with the least amount of clicks possible. You want to make it super easy for people, and you don't want them to have to click on 500 different things. So what this means is, like, really in your planning of it, go from point A to point B really easily. So don't try to like overwhelm it or make it really convoluted. Like, what are we using the bot for? Let's make sure it's simple. And then how do we do that in the least amount of clicks possible while collecting information, but also making it really painless? 2, learn where to create breakpoints in the conversation funnel for the least amount of friction. So adding in a joke or ensuring that you're not overloading with questions, add breakpoints to allow the conversation to pause, let them think a little bit, and then proceed on. 3, use it as a progressive form. So just like so that's kind of how you're building it anyways inside of HubSpot. So you're doing the if then statements, but it's a great way to make sure that the conversation is very personalized and it feels personalized if you use it like a progressive form. So based on how they answer this question, where's the bot going to go for the next direction? So length of form is intentional based on the on the conversation. And then 4, conversational marketing is not just putting a bot on your site, but having a true strategy and how that bot is assisting the user to navigate your site. So this is a more condensed way of saying what I was saying earlier. Make sure that you are taking into account the page's intent that the person is on based on what the bot is going to be doing with it. And then finally, 5, put the user's value first. Do not gate the user's experience behind asking a ton of questions up front via the bot. Ask questions gradually during the interaction as you would in real life, in a real life conversation with your friend. You don't want to be like, hey, Jen, what's your email, first name, last name, all this stuff. Now tell me about how your holidays were. You want to make sure it's gradual. You want to make sure it's really authentic. So 4 core principles of conversational marketing. It's a conversational strategy. Make sure it's a personalized experience, real-time response, and there's a feedback loop. So making sure that, as Trygve asked earlier, and as we're about to look at reporting wise, make sure that you have a time and place where, whether that's monthly, quarterly, whatever works best for your business and your team, make sure you're taking time to review a couple of those conversations so you can see how people are going through them, seeing if people are jumping ship in the conversation early. That might indicate 2 things. A, maybe we're asking too many questions up front. People are getting frustrated and I'm leaving. Or B, maybe maybe the bot can be a lot more succinct. Maybe the conversation's way too long based on what the page's intent is and what the person's trying to do. How do we dumb it down or cut it a little bit? So reporting and KPIs. This is the final bit for Q&A. I appreciate all of you. So things to keep in mind when you're looking and reviewing your bots and what I want to look at to make sure it's successful. So 1 is engagement rate. So engagement, the amount of people who have started the conversation with your chatbot. So engagement rate is the total engagement versus the page views that the bot is located on. Completion rate, whether people have completed the bot, like the interaction or not. So the number of sessions that a user interacted with your bot all the way to the ending action. Completion rate is completed chats versus total engagements. And then error rate. So when a bot cannot complete or understand the visitor's response, typically due to like them asking a question that's way off base that the bot just isn't programmed. That generally happens if you are doing things like having an open chat, like open like text box, or not having predefined like clicking answers. That can happen. So just make sure you have an error message ready to rock, but check out to see, are we getting an overwhelming amount of error rates? So error is errors versus the total engagements. This is what we were talking about earlier, the dashboard for bot actions inside of HubSpot. So this is live chat, qualify leads bots. So you can see these specific data points, which is started, completions, and abandoned. So folks that abandoned the conversation either halfway through or at the start, you are able to pull this report from the chat and just drop this on the dashboard if you want to see this. And then you can do a little bit more if you wanted to actually compare and contrast the total engagements versus how many page views we had on that page. That's another way to pull that data apart. But this is the report that you would use and drop onto a dashboard today to get that specific chatbot actioned reporting.
John, would abandon also include people who X'd out of it? Like,
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
This is another example of that, of the reporting that you can do. This is just like a visualization style. So like you can see started, folks who successfully completed it, and action error. And this is all the actions inside of the bot that we have scheduled. So I can see who actually did these. Did someone did they give us their email, but we didn't get their name? Did they request a callback? Did they deflect visitor? Would you like to be a member? So like, did they get through all of our questions? Which questions were they not really seemingly interested in answering? So like, if I were reading this data, I'd probably say, hey, up until maybe the get name point, things seem good. And then people start to wear off as far as the other questions we have. So maybe we want to pull back, or maybe we want to reorganize what this bot is doing based on the page to say, okay, if this is more of a concierge bot, do we need to be asking for a callback? Do we need to be doing, these other things? Maybe we keep it more basic, like a first impression form or like a top of funnel form.
Is bot data available in the custom reports builder, or are you limited to some of the canned reports that HubSpot generates from these engagement metrics?
You can get it in the canned reports. You do not need the custom reports to be able to pull these. So it's under the chat flows reports.
Can you customize these reports though, or do you have to? Are you limited to only what was provided there?
Yeah, unless you have custom reporting, you would be limited to what you have here.
Okay.
And then this is finally just another visualization of that same data. So you have a couple different options there. But that is it, folks. I am surprised I did this on time and left time for Q&A, but thank you very much. And I'm happy to chat more, answer more questions, talk about my holidays if you want to. You don't care. It's all right.
This was great, John. You mentioned a little bit about some of the AI kind of stuff. What does that look like in chats? Is there a tool inside of HubSpot that you can use to kind of answer natural language?
Yeah, that's a good question. I believe that has more to do. So as of now, I believe that has more to do with the custom coded actions that you can set up with the bot, and it being able to all right, how are you coding it based on how someone's going to answer it and a couple different options it can do. Whether there's more options than that, I'm unsure of as of right now, but I know that's precise, mostly tied to the custom coded action stuff.
Got it. What else, guys? We got the Chatbot King here.
Prince, but it's okay.
How many people are actually gonna start embarking on doing a bot now?
That's what I was gonna ask. Is was this new to anyone that they're like, oh, this might either prompt us to go and revisit the bot we have and make some changes, or hey, we haven't tried it before and this is kind of interesting and we want to give it a go now.
Victor, you said that you've been using it. How are you using it, and why is it amazing? If you don't mind.
Sure. Hey guys. Yeah, it's incredible. It's a great way to kind of pre-qualify a lot of our leads, and we use the live chat feature with an actual user during our business of hours of operation. But when they leave, they turn the bot on, and it's a great way to walk into pre-qualified leads. We ask them some questions. Some people like to request quotes from us, so we give them that option. Do you want to request a quote, or do you have a project in mind? What can you tell us about the project? And then just a couple of quick questions, and I gave it a personality, if and we do find that the fallout is when we ask them for phone number, or sometimes they kind of get lost in the weeds there. So we always, hey, sorry, let's clarify that question. Is this a little bit more interpreted better? So it took some time to put together. We created a what you showed, kind of a roadmap of what some of the questions were. But once we got it up and running, man, oh man, did it open up some bandwidth for our team here. And it's incredible. I'm a big champion of that.
Great.
Yeah.
Victor, your plant money is in the mail. Thank you for that.
You can check out our website. Like if you, after 5:00 today, timberlane.com, go through it and you tell me if you think like, wow, this is not too shifty. And then the fact that you can add personas to it. I learned that today. And so I'm going to talk to my marketing director. Hey, look, we have these 7 personas. If we can tie them, I think we want to, because we have 2 different types of consumers. We have trade consumers and we have direct consumers, the actual homeowner. We're a building products manufacturer, and we talk to them differently. And that just sparked an idea that we can actually engage with them. And then when people are on our website looking at like the homes that we've done, we can actually have some fun with it, right? Like you said, hey, I see that you're looking at this kind of picture. Here's some great additional content to that. I think that's great. So there's a lot more to uncover here. So thank you.
I love that. That's awesome. Seriously, like that is the best takeaway.
There was a lot of hesitation. I'm not gonna lie. The owner of the company was like, no, I want people talking on the phone. But I get it. I don't dismiss it. But instead of being available 24, I mean, we want to be available 24/7. This was just a great way to introduce that. And it's been very successful for the A's come in and walk in. A lot of already pre-qualified leads with content that they can kind of go back and say, hey, I got your information. Just make sure I got it right, and engage with them. So it's huge.
I think there's a lot of truth to that. Like, so that's certainly a thing. And I think to be transparent, I think it only became, it definitely exploded over COVID, but I know there's definitely, I'm a big fan of picking up the phone and like having a conversation with someone as well. And I love that bots can have that ability to, yes, like it's still there. Let's do it and provide that option. But to be frank, like people don't want it anymore. And if they do, they will pick up the phone and call you, provide that option. But people want answers quickly. We're in a texting generation. It's only going to become more and more of a thing where people just don't like, I got 50 different things. I got to go pick up the kids. I got to do this. If I don't know what I'm getting into before the phone call and I know my time is going to be valued, I'm not doing it.
Right.
I'm sorry. Like, I'm not calling you. If I don't know what we're talking about, how long it's going to be, what I'm going to walk away with value from that conversation, I'm not calling you. So like that way of doing business it's dying, and it's sad. I love picking up the phone, and people will do it, provide the option. But you just said it, like not only is it saving your sales team a ton of time, making sure that the folks are qualified beforehand and that they have the right information, but they're gonna have a more succinct and better conversation because of it, because they know exactly. Sales rep is prepared, the person's prepared, and you can have that bot be the one to give that information of, great, do you want to have a phone call? Here's what you'll cover. Here's who it'll be with. Here's how much time it'll be. Like, does these times work for you? Now I can envision that in my week. Great, right between picking up the kids in school, whatever. Fantastic. Now I know what I'm going to do, and I'm that much more willing to give you my time. So I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
That's so cool. That's why you're here, John, because we knew we could wind you up and let you go for an hour, and it would be amazing. For everyone that's on the line, we will be sending you an email with the recording to today's event. Let us know if you'd like to get the deck from today's event. I'm assuming, John, that's cool.
Yep. Oh yeah.
But so much help, and I already have a bunch of tasks on my new to-do list on things that I want to do to the busy website.
Oh,
so,
no. That means that I have a bunch of
tasks
on my to-do list.
No.
I said I.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean you at all. Sweet. So we do have a number of events planned for the rest of the year. We're going to try to do these hugs monthly. So if you have recommendations or requests for people that you want to hear or topics that you want to cover, please don't be shy and send us a note back. You can email me. I'll type in my email address right here, dave@busyweb.com. Would love to hear your input or your thoughts. And keep tuned because we've got some really amazing stuff coming up in the next few months. Thanks for joining, John. Thanks for doing an amazing chatbot on this.
Seriously,
Yeah.
you are all the best. I love doing hugs, and it's just good to see all of you. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your days and week. But thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.
For sure.
Thank
Thanks,
you, John.
everybody.